Welcome, one and all, throughout time and space, for this episode of Weebs on the Weekends, the podcast where we give a retrospective look on an anime that premiered over 10 years ago, and see if they meet the standards of modern day anime. Today's episode, we're keeping in theme with a mini block that we're doing, where we're honoring anime that was premiered or that was shown on Toonami. And this episode, we are reviewing the 2005 Toonami original anime known as IGPX. And my name is Sam Martinez. I'm a part-time weeb, full-time automail mechanic, and welcome back to the podcast, a special guest of us who sat down a few times before, spoke with us about Sonic and Bleach, and now we're here to talk about racing robots. And we have none other than Kevin. What's going on, Kevin? How you been?
I've been, actually pretty terrible. But let's talk about IGPX.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'd like to discuss rather than my personal life, if you don't mind.
No. I totally understand.
Yeah.
And like now that you mentioned it, I feel like would you say that IGPX is uh, I would say like a good wholesome like light anime. Like it's not necessarily like deep, but it's not necessarily like comfort food anime. Like not necessarily like some. I mean, it can be something that you put on in the background, right? Just to have like background noise, but like it's still like I feel like it's honestly like a decent anime. Like what would you say? Would you concur or no?
Uh, I like the show. I don't
Mm-hmm.
watch. I never put something on in the background as just a general practice. Like if the show doesn't deserve my full attention, I'm not watching it at all. So
Oh, all or nothing, huh?
any show I'm watching and I enjoy is
Mm-hmm.
not a comfort. It's not a put in the background type of situation for me. So I think the show's good. I think I wrote down in my notes. I can't remember exactly what scene
Mm-hmm.
that I made this write this down, but I wrote down this show is more subtle than I remember.
Oh
And
yes, yes.
so that sort of thing. It's not something you just put in the background. Uh, you, this is a show you're gonna watch it.
No. That's very good, and like I like that you bring that up because bring up the point that when you watch something, right, it's intentional. So the fact that you like it and that you took the time to watch it, it definitely shows. I guess what would be it, do you have an example of a show that you just stopped watching? I guess just to give
Uh,
the
I can
listeners
tell
some
you.
context.
Well,
Mhm.
I stopped reading the
Okay.
JoJo Part 3 manga because
No! Stardust
I just kept.
Crusaders?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kept waiting for it
Oh.
to get good, and I never felt like it did. But like maybe that's
Hmm.
just because maybe I like the anime more, but the manga was not for me.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness,
and I got
slander.
pretty far into it.
Yeah.
An anime.
Oh, it's same
Fairy
thing,
Tail.
yeah.
Fairy Tail. I watched,
Hmm.
and I watched over 100 episodes. Once again, kind of waiting for it to. I was like, I'll make it to the tournament arc because I love tournament arcs. I got the tournament
Hmm.
arc, and it sucked. And it's like I'm done with this show.
I'm trying to think. So
I why,
that
why
was the first tournament arc where Gajio, the metal dude, when he first showed up, right? Or
No, it was
yeah.
like the one with the big tournament with all the. It was like I don't even remember what the arc was called, but it was
Hmm.
pretty far after that. It was like episode 150. I don't know why I watched it for so long because that show made me upset.
I'm trying to think, was that after the time skip or that was before the time skip?
I don't know.
Okay. No, because I would say I hate to say it, because like with me with Fairy Tail, I really like the early stuff of Fairy Tail. Like when they first introduced Ursa a little bit, you get to see her and like they go against I forgot what the guy was. He had the tattoo on his face. He had the meteor type magic. And then
Oh, the guy who looked exactly like the guy from Rave Master.
yes. I mean, because like I mean, it's the same author, right? So I mean, like if a guy's design looks good, why change it? Why come up with something new, right?
His editor is just like, we need a new character design by Monday, and he's like, but it's Sunday night.
It's like he didn't watch all my old stuff anyway. He's not gonna know. Only the true A1 day ones will. Um,
Yep.
but I would say like yeah, like I said, it's like with Ursa when they went into her backstory, I especially loved Gray's stuff, like where they talked about him and like his teacher, like that stuff was really good. But like usually like when well, not usually, but like as you continue to go on in Fairy Tail, like it does sort of like gas out, and it's like okay, there's only so many times you can use the power of friendship to win the day, right? Whereas in the earlier days, like they were at least a little bit more creative. But okay, so now
At some
we've
point, we need to get
yeah,
back on topic, but I want to say one more thing about Fairy
yes,
Tail,
yes, yes.
which is that I was really upset that every villain turned into a good guy, no matter how horrendous the things they did were. Like the guy was turning people into stone, and they're like, "We forgive you, but you're exiled." I'm like, this guy should go to prison.
Because they were using Naruto's Talk no Jutsu. That's what was
Yeah, like
happening.
that was Naruto didn't use talk no jutsu on people and be like, and you don't have to go to prison, by the way. Like,
Like, hey man, you still gotta serve your time. I'm gonna be here to see you on visitation days, right?
yeah, I feel like that was Naruto's vibe. Now, nobody ever did that because usually they would end up doing some kind of self-sacrifice.
hmm
But uh, I feel like Naruto wouldn't give him a free pass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no no no!
Unless they were Sasuke, I guess.
Oh no, no, Sasuke couldn't do no wrong. Didn't matter. But like you said, like trying to get back to the topic. So, well, just wanted to like have like a little bit of breakdown to show like the audiences and just to realize like the animes that you've put aside and you're like IGPX, like you're just like holding it above your head like on the podium is like this is the winner, you should watch this, right? And just to give a little bit of everybody of a background, right? So like this anime like came out in the early 2000s. I would say probably would you consider it to be like prime Toonami, or it's just like as Toonami's
That's a
pickup
good
steam?
question. I guess I would now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the show when it first came out in 2005.
Mhm.
And I watched it again when it came on Sci-Fi Channel in 2014
Mhm.
on Anna Mondays. That was a former thing that they used to do on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes.
And back when it was called Sci-Fi instead of Sci-Fi. The real ones know what I'm talking about. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and now I've watched it now. So I've watched it when it came out, 10 years later and 20 years later. And yeah, I'd say there was a lot of good stuff on Toonami around this time.
Oh no
Uh,
no. Yeah,
so I
yeah.
think it's fair to call it that. I think this is the era of Toonami that we remember. This is the Tom 3 era, if you will.
Yes, where like Tom looked like he hit the gym, even though like robots is like, okay, you don't need to look like a potato chip, sir, but I approve. But
Yeah.
like to your point, we'll just go over
Year
again, Kevin.
2049. The world's most popular motorsport is the Immortal Grand Prix. Yeah.
Essentially, like with your great Peter Cullen impression, like this anime does take place in the year of our Lord 2048. Just imagine, right? Like giant
No.
fighting
It's
robots.
2049. I
2049,
say
my
that
apologies. 49,
every
49.
episode.
That year makes a difference. Um uh so like in about 20 plus years and some change, like we would have this motorsport known as the Immortal Grand Prix. And
Not only that,
yes.
but it has a history, so it's been around since before that, at least 10 years. So I'm just like, I don't think we're gonna make the timeline. I think we're gonna be there.
Oh my goodness. Like we're just I think like I'm because of the show, like it had like different things, like it was very heavily influenced by Formula One. Like read and did some research on Formula One, but I want to say I think they have something called like an F0 where like it's supposed to be all electric. So like not to say that the foundations or the building blocks aren't there for like giant robots that race, right? So who knows? We might still get there. But back to the summary. So, like, there's this massive sport where you have teams of three, and they essentially compete against other teams to be crowned as the champion of this motorsport known as the Immortal Grand Prix. And the cream of the crop league is known as the IG1, and we follow a team that basically beat that they just recently won the IG2, which is the league right underneath it, and we get to see this team known as Team Satomi as they are going through IG1, how they compete and what it means for this rookie team to be in this new league of competitors. And uh, this anime was a production of ProductionIG. As I said before, it's an anime original. Its genres are action, drama, and sci-fi. The themes are mecha, racing. It's rated PG-13 for teens 13 and older, and it's also available on Sling TV. And I have to tip my hat at Kevin because as I was watching it, Sling TV only has the first season, which is 13 episodes. And Kevin's like, okay, you can do that. I'm going to be a real one and buy the whole collection, where you can watch all 26 episodes. And I got to say, I am very grateful for him for convincing me to do the same because watching the show in its entirety, like, I feel more complete because like even if I did watch the 13 episodes, it would have been good, but like now that I have like the whole experience, I really do appreciate it like that much more. And with that, we'll little bits of a description for the viewers and the listeners. Time codes are in the description because we're about to go into the non-spoiler territory. So do what you want to do. And to begin the non-spoiler stuff, Kevin, I know we talked about it a little bit off camera, but what would you say would be your hot take from about IGPX that's purely nostalgia or from memory when you watched it the first time?
Uh, I'd say uh that Liz Recaro is the best character. And to be honest, I hadn't seen her in a while, so I don't really remember
Mm-hmm.
why. It's just like, oh yeah, she's the cute one. But like, nah, she's the best character on the show because she's got the best arc, the
Mm-hmm.
best story arc, and she's also, she's headstrong, she's funny, and her scenes are humorous, and she's just a good character. And so on rewatch, I definitely was validated and feeling that way.
Oh no no, I definitely understand that too, and I gotta say I like your taste in women because I too like a muscle mommy as well. Because like with her being as active as she is, it's like just like all that much more into her character, and I think oh no, because you mentioned her name was Ricardo. Because a little bit of tangent, I might do this like back and forth because as I said before, like watching this, like I've been watching the Netflix Formula One docu series, and they have a driver on there named Daniel Ricardo. Now he's
Her name is Recaro
oh Ricaro.
with
Okay,
no
never
no
mind. I
D.
misheard you. I misheard you. I was about to say, oh my goodness, is like the references. Oh my days.
Yeah,
But no,
sorry, it's not a
yeah.
real thing.
And I'm sure like as we'll talk, like we'll see like where they pick and choose from. But no, like definitely say what you understand what you said. Like with Liz Recaro, her character is both strong physically and emotionally. It's a she, really good, strong, solid character. Um, I would say with my hot take because again, like this is just like going from memory. Like I wasn't as invested. I just saw it like in a little spurts. I would say my hot take was this is just like mechas with a Formula One problem, right? This is just like these people and giant robots that just happen to like to race. And as we'll talk a little bit more, like I started to develop a little bit of a different sense because like uh this anime took cues from a lot of different things, and I would say too, Kevin, with this anime uh, being the first Toonami, being the first Toonami original anime, would you say that this did a good job in setting a precedent for like what it means to be a work from Toonami and what we could expect in some of their future projects?
Yeah, I think so. They definitely have a different vibe than like a completely Japanese produced anime.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack in particular, and
Oh
also,
yes.
you know, they wouldn't. I don't think any other company would be able to get this cast either. Um, so on those aspects, definitely, uh, I think you can definitely feel the Toonami influence in this show.
Oh no no for sure. Like you said, like it's just like the music, because I think like and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but like with Toonami, I feel like the musical influences were very much like uh jazzy funk hip hop vibes almost, and like it was just like permeated all throughout this show. And I would say, because I'm just looking at like the list right now with some of the other stuff that they have or that they had made afterwards was Space Dandy, Fena Pirate Princess, Blade Runner, Black Lotus, and Ninja Kamui. I know that Ninja Kamui, maybe Black Lotus, they had the same or similar hip hop vibes. Um, but Fena, not so much. I've only seen bits of Space Dandy, and it just seemed more erratic and high energy. What about you? Were you familiar with any of these other projects or no?
Only seen a few episodes of Space Dandy, not
Mm-hmm.
really enough to form a big opinion.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know, but I know they did a good job on IGPX.
Oh yeah, no, 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 for sure, for sure, for sure. Um, I would say like with this series, do you feel as though that I guess like mainly because with it, with the racing being such a big thing, do you feel like it pushed you to try to learn about like Formula One or anything else like that, or did you see any other sports in the show
Uh,
when you watched it the first
nope,
time?
nope. The only thing
Mm-hmm.
that the show made me think in those regards is, man, they should make more things with sports with and the robots. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, soccer, volleyball. What's not going to be cooler without mechs, you know, or with mechs in them. Uh, so I don't know. It made me think about that. Made me think about, because I like I'm designing a video game. You can see on my YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel that. But I always think, it'd be cool to make a game that is like a mech sports game. Maybe a sport that can't be played by humans, but could be played by, robots that can,
Oh
I don't know, maybe
yeah.
fly or something. So it kind of gets me in that mindset more than thinking about real life sports. Although
Mm-hmm.
it's more similar to roller derby than Formula One in that this teams of three and they're racing mostly humanoid. They're not really cars most of the time,
Yeah.
and so it's definitely inspired by roller derby, and which is cool because you wouldn't think they could. I imagine somebody on the staff, whoever's making this, right, whoever came up with this idea, loved roller derby, but realized no one's going to watch a roller derby show in 2005, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, what if we made it with robots?
I'm now that you mention it, like I'm just thinking about, because like with, and I sorry, I'm glad that you mentioned it, because like that was like something that I queued into, and I looked into a little bit of roller derby, and it's just funny because like you say, it's like just think about them like being in the room is like having like somebody who like moonlights like as a roller derby competitor, right? And I'm just thinking, is like, what if like her nickname was Sledge Mama, right? And it's like, what would be really cool. I'm just like thinking of like having like somebody like in the pitch meeting room is like, no, we need to have like hardcore nicknames like that in the show, man. Um, but no, I'm just trying to think what else. So no, because like what you said, like I'm just trying to think, because like your prompt would be really interesting. It's like I'm trying to think of like another sport, because like as you said, like basically like if you just like throw robots in like any other sport, like it would actually be pretty good. I'm trying to think of a sport where it wouldn't be entertaining. I mean, is chess considered a sport?
I think robot chess sounds hilarious.
Also.
I don't know. It's just like the idea of robots playing chess is just absurd, even though it's a thing that actually happens now. Uh,
Hmm. Like Deep
but
Blue. I think that's the
I
name of
guess
the supercomputer. Deep Blue or no?
I think that's right from the 70s.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, just making that story might be neat. I don't know, but
Hmm.
the point is, robots are cool, so you can't go wrong with them usually.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. Um, so I would say like touching back on a little bit of the racing aspect. Now, uh, when this anime came out, do you feel as though that this being a racing anime that it was an isolated incident, or do you feel as though it was intentional about having it being racing at the time that it came out?
I think that they wanted to do something in 3D
Mm-hmm.
because that was kind of CGI on television, still not that fleshed out at this point. I mean, there had been shows, but it's getting better all the time at that
Mm-hmm.
point. And so, but doing something with humans is very difficult. Faces in 3D is not easy. So I think that's why you see several racing shows in this era.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because it's easier to animate. They just do the cars in 3D and the people in 2D. And in this case, it's robots to the cars, but it's also you don't need as many because they're just cars, or they're just vehicles. You don't need as many models if you're making a whole show in 3D. It's just like the track and the vehicles.
No. I totally agree with that. And I'm glad that you had touched on it because touched on the point that there are other racing shows that came out during that time, because that was one thing that I had noticed when I was doing a little bit of research. Was there any particular other racing show that came to mind to you when thinking about IGPX, at least like that was its
We
contemporary?
Well, it was 3 years earlier, but
Mhm.
F Zero GX is or not GX. That's the game. F Zero GP Legend is
Oh,
similar
okay.
in
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
it has 3D cars and 2D characters. Well, not cars, they're F Zero machines, but you
Mhm.
understand
And I'm trying to remember because like
semantics.
that came in the same block as I forget it because it was Cubics, Kirby, Sonic X,
Yeah,
right?
it was the Fox,
Fox
formerly
Box,
called
yeah.
Fox Kids,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah,
now called Nothing. It doesn't exist anymore.
yeah. Oh, don't you hate it when good things die? Oh wait, what did it die or? I
Life
don't know.
goes on. Yeah, they don't really do Saturday morning cartoons like they used to because
Hmm.
it's just put on Netflix. And honestly, we're in a better world because like when I was a kid, you couldn't just watch every episode of Power Rangers, and now on Netflix you can do exactly that. So you can watch whatever you want, and it's like we act like we had it better, but they have what we had. So I don't know.
I would say like it's probably more readily available now. Like they with us, like we had to learn the virtue of waiting,
I
right?
had to be there at the right time.
Yes. Dude, I hate it because like when you missed an episode, like that next like
You're
school
done.
day, yeah, like you're not in the know anymore. It's like I couldn't watch it because like dad made me go cut the lawn or something else like that. It's like, oh my goodness. It was super sucky. But
Those were different times.
I mean, I would say, because I'm trying to think about it like now, like Netflix kind of does it sometimes, where it's like they would release something weekly, or if it's something that's live, like WWE or something else like that. But even now, it's like it's few and far between to get something that's weekly like that. Um, but going back to the topic at hand, because um like going back to what I was saying, like I felt like that when IGPX came out, like it was the biggest, not the biggest, but it was like one of the biggest times for like racing anime, because I saw that there was a NASCAR racers, if you remember, where it had like the
So did
NASCAR drivers. Oh my goodness, bro. I think there was one car, like it was like a speed racer but like with NASCAR cars, and they all had like some special gimmick to them. Like there was one that had like a wings so that they can fly. There was another one that can hop on its side and drive like with two wheels. There was that. There was also the Hot Wheels race world where they had like portals and they can travel around everywhere. There was even the Speed Racer X show that came out like in '97 to 2000 that ended around that time. But like with Speed Racer X, contrast to what you had mentioned, that one was fully drawn the entire time. Whereas with NASCAR racers and Hot Wheels, that one had the 3D modeling for the cars and the 2D animation. And I'm just thinking about it now. It's like, do you think that racing anime needs to have a comeback? That they need to be brought back to modern day?
Man, I mean, we don't need anything, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it might be cool, you know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
really, I'm fine either way because what we have is good, and if they want to make more, I think anime creators should make what they want to make, and if they want to make racing anime, great. If they don't, okay. I want to see what you want to make. I'm not really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to force anything on the industry, right?
Yeah, no, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. I feel like,
I think no matter what, you're
yeah,
gonna get good quality stuff if people are passionate about what they're making.
no, 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 you're true about that. Like, so long as like they enjoyed making it and we have a good time watching it, definitely be good. So like talking about creating content because you mentioned that you were working on a video game. Were you familiar that IGPX came out with a video game for the PS2?
I knew it existed.
Mm-hmm.
I did not own a PS2, didn't play it, and licensed games at that time had a pretty bad reputation. There were not very many that were good, and by licensed games, I mean
Mm-hmm.
games that weren't just based like didn't start out as a game. So it's based on a property, such
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
licensed games these days are usually pretty good if they're on
Mm-hmm.
like a console. Like now the trash licensed games have moved to mobile. Um, and you'll find usually console games are decent quality. Like Batman games in this era were not anything special. They're usually bad, but now we're getting
Mm-hmm.
Arkham games, so
I'm trying to
it's just
think.
it's a
Yeah,
different era now.
I would say like the only licensed game back then that I played that seemed to be received pretty well was the Spider-Man games based off of Sam Raimi. And
Yeah,
yeah, you were saying?
I really liked The Simpsons Hit and Run. That was really good.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That one. No, no. I think I might be thinking about it differently because that wasn't the Simpsons side scroller, was it?
No, that was
Okay.
it was a like, GTA clone.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. What
It was really
was
great.
yeah. Um, and like it was at least like looking back on it too, because like I didn't get a chance to buy the game when it came out, and like looking back on it, like the quality seemed like it was pretty good, but I feel like it was like the just looking at some of the trailers, it seems like the way that it played, it might have been like I don't know if it is like NFL Blitz, but it was probably like Madden or like FIFA, where you can toggle between the different positions, which seemed pretty interesting, like how you can control your team that way instead of I think because nowadays you would have like say like Final Fantasy, where it's like you have one character and you essentially throw commands and have other characters do stuff, right? Versus being able to toggle through each individual one and being able to play as them. And I would say so. No, I guess like went from like when you watched it the first time. Like, would you say that for an entry anime watcher that this is a pretty good start where you don't have to really need to have a lot of knowledge on roller derby or Formula One, you can just sort of just like hop in and you'll be okay? Or do you think that there are some
Uh,
anime tropes that would throw people off?
I mean, I don't know much about. Like,
Hmm.
I watched the show when I was 11 and liked it, so I'd say it's good. Yeah, I don't think you need to
Yeah.
know. I don't think you need to know more than an 11-year-old to enjoy this.
Okay. And I guess like with some of the themes they deal with youth. So like as an 11 as a, like thinking back to 11-year-old Kevin, right? Like there was nothing that like freaked you out or confused you too much. Like they were able to give you enough to where you can enjoy it. It's not like they say for because there was a time where like Satomi was trying to find funding, right? Like that didn't like bog down the story or anything else like that. Like you were still able to take it in stride.
Look, every episode they had some cool mechs racing. So anything that was like that, that like just like wasn't super interesting, was soon corrected.
Mm-hmm.
But for my 11-year-old brain. But I really appreciate those scenes now, though, because it gives the story more depth and more meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't think I was confused. I mean, it was people think children are stupid. Children are not stupid. So
Oh
yeah, it was
yeah.
fine.
No. Like for real. I think because I think you had mentioned this off air, but with the show like it's a lot more subtle like about like certain things and as you mentioned like as a child like so long as like you're not talking down to like you can understand like the situation and like what's going on and I really do think that with this show like it does a good balance on keeping the serious with the funny and with like some of the emotional investments with the characters because you have different characters with different motivations along with like you have them trying to operate as a team like throughout this new season because like they're dealing with people who are supposed to be in a higher league than them, right? So it's like they're vying for their spot and they're also trying not necessarily trying to like stamp out their identity but sort of like solidify on what makes their team click so that they can keep moving forward. Am I correct in that, or is that there are some things I'm missing?
I mean, I think you got it.
Hmm.
I think that all made sense to me.
Okay, awesome. So, I would say like for somebody who's like still like fairly new to the anime, like from what you said earlier, is like it's pretty like 11-year-old Kevin was able to enjoy it. So like anybody else was able to well not anybody else, but like it should be like a good entry anime, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm of the opinion that if your show isn't a good quote unquote entry show, it's probably just not a good show. Like,
Oh, okay.
you know, I mean, anything should be. You shouldn't have to do homework to watch anything, really. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see that. Like, I know people who've watched Dragon Ball Super and didn't see Dragon Ball Z, and they enjoyed it, and that I think is evidence that this show is not just a tack on to another show. It's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know, if your show is not going to be understood by the layman, if it's not going to be enjoyable by the layman, maybe it's just not that good, Because I think a lot of things that people think are complicated and that people want to enjoy aren't. Like, for example, Twin Peaks, very complex show,
Yeah.
very popular when it came out. Um, and I think people misunderstand that the audiences are smart. They're not stupid.
Okay. No. That's a good point. I've been meaning to watch Twin Peaks. Well, yeah, I've heard good things, but I never took the time to sit and watch it. But like, to your point, like if you don't like talk down to your audience and like you tell a good story, like you put in the work to make it good quality, then they will enjoy it. And like with this, I feel like this show is just a really good time, right? Because like I feel like it has to do with a little bit of how the team holds itself up, or like the what's the phrase, um the the environment that the team creates itself, right? So like it's not because you get to see different teams in the show, like how they operate. One team operates very militaristically, another team is known for being quote unquote cheaters, right? There's another team for being super primp and pompous, whereas like with Satomi, they're fairly like laid back, and you get to feel that with them. And I feel like that's also a big testament too, because like they make a very comfortable environment for you to really enjoy them, and for the characters to sort of express who they are. And am I correct in that, or is there something that could be said there?
Um, once again, I think you nailed it on the
Mm-hmm.
head. I think you got it.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So before we get into the spoiler territory, are there any other like uh thoughts, comments, or concerns that you would like to give to the novice before we start spoiling all over the place?
Sure, this song's
Mm-hmm.
got this show has a great soundtrack. Uh, it's an atypical anime soundtrack, and that they
Mm-hmm.
really just sourced the English dub, the Toonami version, which is what we watched.
Mm-hmm.
It is the soundtrack is comes from various music artists. It's not one composer, like which would be more traditional, and they kind of it's a different vibe, very much of the time, the early 2000s, very or mid 2000s in this case. And it's very good, uh, and I highly recommend. I think it carries the show in some ways because there are elements of the show that don't
Mm-hmm.
really work, but it's got great vibes from this music and this atmosphere, and the voice cast is also stellar. It's got some really big names that don't usually do anime, like Mark Hamill, who did Star Wars, obviously, and Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime,
Mm-hmm.
and Haley Joel Osment, who voices Sora. And it's got a really star-studded cast that's atypical of an anime, and they all do a terrific job. And it's just got an above-average dub. Uh, so I didn't even consider watching this one in Japanese. I just watched it in English, and there's I don't need to ever see it in Japanese because it's perfect. I mean, perfect's strong, but it's good.
Very good choice. Very good choice. Words, and like you said, is like very, very strong. And as we are going into the spoiler section, you mentioned about the cast, and I can't say enough like on how strong of a cast that this production had. Like as I said before, like with Toonami, they put in the work, made sure they got like all these people in here. Like you gave some great names, and one of the surprising names to me was because I would say, like, would you say that it was fair that around this time, and I'm sure like it was probably like been around for a while, but like around this time it felt like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon were really, really beefing, or like really big competitors with one another?
I think it might just feel that way because of the age we were at the time. Like, I
Mm.
mean, I don't even know what Nickelodeon had during this time. I mean, they guess they had SpongeBob, obviously, but like, I've always felt like during this
Mm-hmm.
era they were just really lagging behind Cartoon Network, and Disney Channel was a distant third. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if I'd say that. I think it was just for me. Cartoon Network was just the obvious winner, and if something was boring on Cartoon Network, I might switch to Nickelodeon. But
Yeah.
but the thing is I didn't watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. Somebody who did might have a different opinion.
No, no, you're right about that. Because I think like, well, like you said, like they had SpongeBob, but I think like at that time it might have been Fairly Odd Parents. Rugrats was sort of phasing out at that time because this is like early 2000s. So like I think Rugrats had like ended like mid or late 90s. I think Cat Dog might have been a big thing, but I remember like I guess like I had it in my head because in the late '90s, because like they even had Rocko's Modern Life. Like they were like I don't know if it was like just me making things up, but like it felt like there was like Nickelodeon was trying to hype themselves up and Cartoon Network was trying to hype themselves up, and like it seems like there was a big back and forth. But to bring the point home, because you mentioned SpongeBob, and like I'm looking at the cast, and I saw that Mark Hamill was in it, and so like there was an announcer character in the show that was very bombastic, that was very high energetic, and I'm like, oh, because I'm thinking about Mark Hamill now. I'm not necessarily thinking about like Mark Hamill like back then, who probably tried to do more serious roles. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe that's like Mark Hamill, right? Like just trying to show like how dynamic he can be as an actor. And come to find out, it's the actor for the announcer was SpongeBob's voice actor. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's
holy
Tom
yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah, Tom Kenny, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, oh my days, what is like this show brought all the people together. It's like they got Nickelodeon's big star over here on this project. So it's just like either
Well,
like the money was talking or the project seemed really good to him.
it's not the first time he worked with them either, because he's
Mhm.
also the mayor on Powerpuff Girls. So, and
Oh,
you
okay.
know, Mark
Yeah.
Hamill does the Joker on various DC projects, so
Hmm.
they probably already had his number. They probably they didn't have to, or at least they had the agent's number if nothing else.
Hmm.
So I doubt they were as hard of a get as they might seem. Um, but that's the thing is that other anime companies or studios producing anime uh, are not or dubbing anime, I should say, are not going to be able to get this talent because they
Hmm.
don't have that pre-existing relationship, and Cartoon Network does, and so they were able to get a cast that was atypical.
No. Like you said, because I would say, because like you said, like Haley, Mark, because I would say like I think he also with Liz's actor too, like Michelle Rodriguez. I knew that she did a couple of projects, but I think around this time, like I think she was still trying to find her identity as an actor, but like it's still like very interesting seeing that she was in this as well. So I don't know, like I need to look into the research because it gives me hope, because like I think like she's low-key a nerd because she was in the new version of Dungeons and Dragons that came out recently. So it's like, okay, I see you, Rodriguez. I see you're trying to uh become one of us, or show that you're one of the nerdy sides of us over here. And I mean, not to forget Toonami's main man, Steve Bloom, being Cunningham from Velstein. Um, and I would say too, like I just learned this as well. Like the lady who voiced Miss Satomi, she's currently working on an anime. She is the grandma in Dandadan. So just shows like they were able to pick and choose like a whole lot of people. But while we're here in the spoiler territory, like I do have like another question for you, because I asked you for like your hot take. So like after like this newest rewatch of the show, do you have like what's your hot take now? Is it the same? Has it changed?
So my original hot take is correct, but I'd say one thing that really bugged me this time that I don't think I cared much about before is that these racing mechanics do not make any sense.
How so?
Why are they always in speed mode? Like, if I was trying to win a race, I'd always be in speed mode. And it's like a lot of things go underexplained. You don't find out you're only allowed to use the rolling skeleton once until the second season. Like, I feel
Yes.
like I should have known that by now. And things of that nature, where the mechanic, like, it's like what is legal to have on your mech? Because you'll see them do some crazy stuff, and it's like, is that legal? Are they allowed to do this?
I
And they'll
know.
talk about how SpongeBob was playing rough, but it's like they're doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how these guys are cheating, but like you said, it's like Sledge Mom is like moving the same way that like the Princess crew is moving. It's like, do you just not like Sledge Mom? It's like, what's going on here? I feel like there's a bias that we don't know about. Um,
Yeah,
mhm,
I think they just kind of look like gangsters, so people think that they're. But it's like, I mean, everybody's got some stupid weapons, except Seems Satomi, who just punches things. So, uh, but yeah, it bothered me more this rewatch because
mhm.
I hadn't really binged it ever. Both the previous times I was watching it one episode a week. So when you watch it all at once, you kind of realize this racing doesn't make sense. As far as like, what are the rules? What are the rules? I don't know.
What do we do? Where do we go? I would say
What
like,
about you?
yeah.
What's your? Oh, sorry.
No, no,
Continue.
no, no, no.
Sorry.
Because like just talking about the racing rules because that was a little bit why like I was asking about like if you had played the game because I feel like you would get because like the game's based on the show like I feel like if you played the game like you would they would give you a tutorial and they'll be say like hey this is why you can only do this is why you can only do that and just to bring back some of what I've watched from Formula One, and I don't want to seem like I'm over explaining, but like just for the people who don't know about Formula One, on certain races they would only allow the drivers to have a pit stop once. On other races, depending on how long it is, they can allow like twice, but like that's usually the thing. So in my mind, it's like okay, since they're cherry picking from Formula One, that's probably a thing where it's like what you said about the skeleton, they can only use a skeleton once per race, right? And so I'm thinking about like with the race mode is like maybe you can only use the race mode for like so long, which is why they're so very particular about when they go into race mode. And we usually see it at like the last quarter of the last lap to try to win. But like that's why just going back to the video game because I feel like the video game would explain that a little bit more. But I but like again to your point, it's like it's just like things like that uh you wish they had explained a little bit. But like it's still good enough to where you can enjoy it. Is that right? Or do you feel like it's detriment to the anime that they don't explain those particular points?
I mean, no, I don't think it's detrimental necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess no, it is. It is detrimental because when you're watching it, you're sitting there like it takes you out of the show because you're thinking, what is the rule here? Why are they allowed to do this? Why are they allowed to do this? So I guess
Yeah.
it is a bit detrimental, but it doesn't ruin the show. I mean, I still enjoyed the show,
Mm-hmm.
and it does make more sense as it goes on. But I still, they never really answer the why don't they always go into speed mode whenever they have any lead whatsoever? Like people will turn around to fight, and I'm like, why are you turning around instead of going in speed mode? I don't understand.
Dude, that was so wild because when Fontaine because like I think was it the race in season 2 or I think she did it both times because in some of the races like where they Satomi was going up against her team, her and Takashi they were always up front and she always had the lead and then she would turn around and come back and fight him. And I guess like the second one, it was more or less like her working through her feelings and realizing that she just admired him as a racer and didn't see him as a potential partner. But it was still odd, like both like it was more understandable in the season 2 race. But like in the season 1 race, it's like okay, I thought you wanted him to take you seriously. It's like, wouldn't you just like keep that lead going and try to get him to keep up with you? Because like you said, they're
Yeah,
racing.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like that the races themselves are just used as a metaphor for the conflict. in the slice of life narrative
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times, so the mechanics aren't that important. It's kind of style over substance, you might say, or
Well, a little
yeah,
bit, but like it does. I would say, like you said, like, it tips in that a little bit, but like the whole show is not like that because like there still is substance, but I feel like you said, like in terms of like at least like those rules, it is like okay
they play
show.
fast and loose.
Yeah, it's like you're. I mean, because like they're racing, right? It's like you have to be fast and loose sometimes. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, like it's like okay, you're letting other stuff do the heavy lifting here. You could do better, but like overall, like it's a bit of a demerit, but it doesn't negate all the work that the show has done up to that point. Correct?
yeah. I mean, no, I mean, I like the
Mm-hmm.
show. Like, I think I said that already. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. It's just kind of like it irks me. Okay, what's your hot take? We've been talking about my hot take for long enough.
Okay. So my hot take, it's a little bit of a revision from my earlier one. My earlier one was just like mechas having a problem with Formula One. And like this go around, it's more of it's roller derby mechas with a Formula One problem. Because that was like going to, think about the overall arc is that like it's all about teamwork. And again, like watching some of the Formula One docu-series, things like that, one thing that I didn't realize is that in the actual world of Formula One, they, even though you have teams, like teams of two that race against other teams, they don't operate necessarily like a team. I mean, yeah, you get cumulative points, and that's something that you see in IGPX too, where it's like depending on when a person finishes, they get so many points, but and that gets totaled, and you get a prize for that like at the end of the season. But aside from that, it's a very toxic environment where you're essentially pitted up against your teammate, and it's so bad that teammates would literally rather crash out with their teammate rather than having that other teammate end up higher on the position for them. And back to roller derby, because like you're literally like pushing and shoving people away, but it's more of a team based sport where everybody has their position and their role to play. So there was that, and that's sort of like my hot take there. And like my second one, we'll see like what you think about it. Is I feel like Amy and just like the position of midfielder, like it seems like their position was just useless up until like the last 5 episodes, and it's just that's how I felt. And I don't know if it's because Satomi itself didn't operate as a team until like the last 5 episodes of the anime, because it was when they were actually in unison you get to see like Amy shine. But still, it's like up to that point it's like, why is she here? What does she provide to the team? And then it's just
Yeah,
like,
she's
yeah.
definitely a weaker character, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes the midfielder role in general because she's the one we see for most of the show.
Yeah, because
I think that makes her role
mhm.
seem useless in general because they don't focus on any other midfielder really, right?
the
So
the
the one
only
we do
yeah,
see is not that useful.
I would say the only, because like you said, like she's the primary one that we focus on. And then the secondary one is when Andre subs her, right? But we
Yep.
view him differently because he's the captain. So no matter, wait, sorry, not the captain, but he's the coach. So no matter what he says or what he does, he's already talking from a point of authority, right? So nothing's really going to change. I think the only other midfielder that we follow was the guy from Team White Snow. Wasn't he a midfielder or no?
I actually am not sure, but
Hmm.
like, I don't it's kind of like I don't remember who's who in the formations in a lot of these because it doesn't
Hmm.
really matter that much. Because it matters sometimes, I
Yeah.
suppose. And I think Yama is a midfielder in the
Oh yeah.
second, except for the first time he races, and or he might have been defender. I'm not sure, but yeah, I guess you know they can only do so much with these races, and I don't know if I'd say the midfielder seems useless. It just seems to be less well defined
Oh
than
no
the
no
other
no
two.
no for sure. Because like I said, like when Satomi like they get their stuff together, then we can see that like Amy like she analyzes the other team's patterns, just like, hey, they're doing this, we should do this. I mean, we see her sort of do that with Liz in the beginning, and because Takashi he's sort of like doing his own thing, but then like when he gets on board, like that's when like they all have that synergy and they sort of bounce off of each other. And like that's a good point with what you said about Yama, because when River comes on the scene, because they make River the forward for Sledge Mama, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, and even then, I think I'm trying to think because like when we see Yama for like that race against Satomi in this season, did they? Yeah. They did go against Satomi in the second season because that was when they were pressing him his um about pushing him out of the team because I couldn't remember if that was with Satomi or if that was with White Snow. Which race
It
was
was
that?
with Satomi.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the second season, but then they found out via technicality that they actually won the previous race,
Mm-hmm.
and so like a rule, I don't know why they don't really tell you, and so then they get eliminated by White Snow, which is I don't know, kind of silly. It's like they just got back in just to get immediately booted back out in the next episode. It's like why do we even do this?
Why
But
are
yeah,
we here?
that whole arc was not fleshed out enough. A lot of there's like one too many story arcs in this show,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like not enough room for all of them, so they all kind of end up feeling a little underbaked. With the possible exception of Team Velstein and the whole Cunningham thing, that feels pretty good. Especially the first season. In the second season, they kind of don't do as much with it, but in the first season, I feel very strong. It was a very strong arc.
Well, I feel
But
like
then there's a
because like Cunningham was Steve Bloom's character, I feel like because he's their boy, they're going to give him like the most fleshed out character. Would you say that or no?
I don't know if they had that much control over it or not, but maybe.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. But I definitely think, he got the best that whole Takashi and Cunningham rivalry is kind of the best, arc in the show.
Hmm.
And then there's some others that don't really work, like the whole Fontaine relationship. I don't really think it works. I don't think it's that interesting. Um, and let's see, Yamas, like I mentioned, his arc is not. It doesn't feel finished. Neither
Yeah.
does Rivers. Rivers' arc. River feels like River needs to beat Takashi, and he doesn't.
What they did with River too, like they built him up. I feel like they gave him a solid foundation earlier on because like we have that pseudo lock in where him and Takashi like they have like that one on one and like up until that point like River is just like yo what bug is eating up your crotch, right, like that sort of thing. And then you see like River has like this complex where like I don't think it's necessarily an inferiority complex, but like his father was a racer and he saw that like his father tried and tried and tried, but like it was always shafted, and he doesn't want to end up like that. And they have this beautiful moment, and like as you said, like it's this good springboard, and it sort of just fizzles out in the air. It's not really resolved in a satisfying way. um and
Yeah,
even I'm sorry, you were saying.
yeah. This show gets carried by vibes a lot. The
Hmm.
vibes are really good. You don't notice this as much when you're watching it 1 week at a time. But when you're binging it like this, like we have,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, huh, you know, this isn't all adding up.
It's like if I think about it too much, maybe, but like, I would say like even then, like it seems like it seems like it's pretty like they have like solid foundations. It's just like I guess well we don't even know if they knew like how popular it was going to be
Yeah.
because um
I mean,
yeah.
was it that popular?
Mm-hmm.
It got but I mean they put the last 6 episodes on at like Friday at midnight, so I guess it probably wasn't that popular. But I think that it doesn't reach its full potential,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that it could be more, but it still has value for what it is. It's still a very enjoyable show. I really like it.
Oh
I
no, no,
think
no, for
the
sure.
characters are good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the vibes are good, the soundtrack's good, the aesthetics are good. So, like, the fact that not everything in the plot and character development really lands doesn't ruin it for me. It just makes me think, could have been a little better, which is, it's fine. A lot of shows are like that.
Mm-hmm. Now you keep mentioning the vibes. Would you say, and earlier you mentioned about the slice of life aspect. Would you say, would you like to, please expand on that? Like the vibes and the slice of life. Like, are they like are those two intertwined for you, or are they separate? Because
I
you
think
yeah.
about them separately, right? But
Okay.
um, the the show's got good vibes because
Mm-hmm.
it's got a great soundtrack, it's got great aesthetic. It's just very comfy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as slice of life, so we don't like to admit it, especially when we're children.
Mm-hmm.
But like normal human, emotional interaction is interesting and is cool. So that aspect of the show is necessary, and it gives the races more weight and meaning. When I was 11, it's probably I was like, I'm here for the races, but you're really without seeing their personal lives and having them develop, it doesn't matter as much. So I think those parts of the show are very enjoyable as well. Uh, I do think they needed some. They kind of didn't expand on certain things enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are Takashi's parents? We don't see them. Isn't
Oh,
he
that's a
supposed to be
good
a
point. I
teenager?
totally forgot
Does
about
he go
that.
to school? Like, why? What's his sister do? Does she have an inferiority complex because her brother, who's not much older than her, is a professional racer and she's seemingly just a normal kid? I, it's just it's odd.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy Luca, we hear about, her parents don't visit her very often in one episode, and then we don't see him again. So I guess they don't visit very often. But it's
I
like
think we
she
only get a
doesn't.
phone call from them. I don't do we ever see her parents?
I'm not sure, but here's what I know:
Yeah.
her character is not developed enough. She's just kind of, hey, it's the funny girl with the cat. Meanwhile, Liz and Takashi get a lot more room. Although I would
Mm-hmm.
say I feel like Takashi needed it a little bit more. Liz is the only one where I feel like, oh, she's developed pretty well. Um,
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
and then they used the whole episode basically to expand Mark's character. And I like wrote down, I was writing notes. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
they're
go ahead.
expanding on Mark before Amy. Like, if we really even know who Amy is, like we don't know that much about her really.
Oh, like they shafted Amy so bad. It's like, hey, we don't care about her enough, so we're gonna get this other supporting character who doesn't get enough time. And it's just oh my like I guess like that's why like I feel like I don't like Amy or her character like until like the end because they really don't. I mean, they do a little bit of her like on her birthday and then they sort of forget about her. But like when she gets hurt and like her coming back, like going into the training and like her getting back on the track, like that was really good because like I knew like they were gonna have to deal with like her fear like overcoming like getting hurt, things like that. And I would say like it was good to see her have to come to grips with that internal battle where it's like she wants to jump in the race but like whether or not like she sort of like is jumping the gun by trying to do too much too fast, right? Like because she's not making the same reaction time speeds as everybody else. Like that was good. I just felt like we got. I felt like we needed a little bit more of that from her.
They
But like,
even
mm-hmm,
replace her for like 4 episodes with Andre as the Rockets.
mm-hmm.
Uh, because and I'm just like, well, this is more interesting. It's like I wouldn't have minded if she just got shafted the rest of the season, which is kind of sad because it's like, but
No. No, my no, yeah, no, you're right. So like, and I would say like that was also interesting too to see Rockets because like they got to go a little bit in his background and what do you think about him like when he was telling his story to Takashi because he would say one thing and then it seemed like he was just using like half truths regarding like his family and his daughter. Do you think that that was intentional or do you think that I'm just thinking too much about it?
I just be thinking too much about it. I'm not sure, but I
Mm.
might not be reading enough into it. I just think, oh, cool, he was the Rocket,
Mm-hmm.
and he's this, and he's out here trying to prove he still got it in a way, prove he can still contribute, because his life went south for a while, which I think a lot of people could probably emphasize with,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you've lived long enough. There's a low point in your life. There's always going to be one. So I think Andre is one of the most interesting characters on the show.
Why is that?
He's also it's just
Mm.
that's oh, man, you put me in the spot here. But I think he's interesting because he's got such a history and because he's got that mystery to him at first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's he even more mystery once you find out he's the Rocket and well, why did he stop racing? What's all this? What's going on? And so I think that makes him interesting just because he's got more history. I think inherently, I guess the more years you've lived, the more interesting things you're going to do and be able to talk about. So, these 15-year-old characters are a little less interesting because they haven't lived a life.
Dude, that's
Um,
crazy that they were like 15 though. Like
yeah, it
what?
makes no sense. Just don't think about it. If that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's like that's one of the things we don't think about. We don't think about
Because
these 15-year-olds driving these like half-story mechs going
they
like
shouldn't even have
300
a
plus.
driver's license at all. I don't understand how they're allowed to do this. And on the world's most popular motorsport makes no sense. Whatever.
Oh my days. But back to Andre, right? It's like I feel like because like one of the things too that like makes him interesting like in season one is that like his whole attitude like being a coach because especially in the beginning it just seems like he just doesn't like his team like the way that he gives his um the way he gives his advice it's not necessarily like Master Yoda like a Yodaism or anything else like that. Sometimes it's like straightforward or it's just like super abstract and like when it's revealed that like he used to be a racer like not a racer but like the racer it sort of makes sense like why his style is like that because I feel like with him and his style of racing it's probably more like Takashi where it's like it's half intuitive and from what I've seen in other anime it seems like people who are intuitive it's hard for them to explain to others how to do things, right? It's not like he's like Master Roshi and it's like you have to put your hands like this, you have to do this, where it's just like you have to go whash and boom and just get out there and do that thing. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Or
he's just
yeah.
like just focused on winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, to be fair though, they do win. So
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I would say too, because he does mention that like in the first season he's like I do believe in this team otherwise I wouldn't be here, right? So it's like those moments like that where it's just like okay so like he is a little bit more complicated in that regard. um I would so like that was fairly interesting. Are there any other characters like aside from Liz and Andre that you noted as exciting or interesting?
Well, River is interesting. He just doesn't
Mhm.
kind of go far enough. When
Yeah.
you for the first few episodes, you're like, why is he here? Like he's not contributing. They're not letting him contribute.
Hmm.
And then he finally realizes, yo, the audience is right. Why am I here? And he leaves. And
Had that
so
fourth wall moment.
yep, yep. And Cunningham is a very interesting character. As I
Hmm.
mentioned, his arc with Takashi is great. He's just kind of a similar character to Takashi. He's got this drive to win, but he's been at the top for so long now that he's like lost all interest. Kind of like a One Punch Man situation.
Oh yeah.
Um, and people, one thing I don't like is that people keep saying how weird he is, and I'm like, I feel like he needs to act weirder to justify this. He's not really that weird.
No, that's a good
Um,
point because like the only thing that's weird is that like he'll talk to Takashi off the track, but then like on race day, like he'll stop talking to him, and it's like that's not too weird, right? Because like
yeah,
even if
he's not as
yeah,
weird as people say he is
yeah,
on the show.
it's like you're just
Um,
telling me that just to tell me that.
Yeah, and the whole thing where his team, the kind of leader of his team,
Hmm.
the owner perhaps, and Andre used to be on a team together. That's an interesting dynamic that I think was well done.
Hmm.
I especially like how at the end, they're just like, "You want to go out for a drink?" And because it's like they're both in their 50s or whatever. It's like, this rivalry's not that serious now because we're old men, which I think, you
Hmm.
know, as I age, I'm not that old yet, but as I age, the things that used to be serious and used to matter now matter less than they used to.
No, that's a good point. Like it shows maturity and
Just
age.
perspective and wisdom.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, so as far as any other characters, I mean, Yama's cool. Doesn't get developed enough. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think we've been over it. Characters that I don't like are Jessie, because why is she there?
You
I
don't
feel
like
like
Jess?
she
Why
doesn't need
don't
to
you
be there.
like? Oh, you just feel like she doesn't belong there. She doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, she's superfluous. She's just there to deliver some lines of dialogue for no good reason.
She's
And
there
Mr.
to
Tomy doesn't
give.
really do anything either.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Don't hate on Mama Satomi now. She's there to
I mean,
make
she just
sure
doesn't
the
get enough room to like. She doesn't have enough importance in the plot. She's just kind of there a lot of the time.
she. Well, I guess you could say like it's more or less just like plot. Oh no, because like even then, because like you have the issue with her finding sponsorship, but then like Mark or Max, I always forget his name. He just makes a
Mark.
call. Yeah, Mark. He makes a call. It's like, hey man, it's like look at this, and then boom, they got a sponsor. It's like, oh, she was saved by an investing angel. Like it wasn't necessary. I don't
And
know.
if it
Like
was that interesting, you know,
yeah.
like I'm just like I don't know if I mean she obviously she's a necessary character,
Hmm.
but I feel like she could have been done better. She could have had.
Yo, I
I
just
feel
thought
like they
about
cut
it.
Jesse out, have Satomi do more,
Yeah.
combine their characters, and like they'll feel like an actual complete character.
I feel like now that you mention it, right? Like you know that scene where Satomi gives Takashi that deadline because he was acting like a dick, where he's like, "Yo, I told you to be here and you weren't here. You're getting benched, right?" Like so, oh dude, that would have been great, right? Like say like you have River still with that team, right? Up until that point and just have her make that switch, right? How do you think that would have played out?
Well, that would have been River just sitting there and doing nothing for an entire additional season. So I don't think they could have
Mhm.
done it like that, but it might have been an interesting way to do things. I don't know how you get Takashi back in the driver's seat, and you'd need to. I guess you have River get hurt, and then they have to. That would do it. Uh,
Mm.
that could have been interesting, but I think it's fine the way they did it too.
Yeah, no,
They
you're
got a
right.
lot out of the arc of like Takashi having self doubt, which
Hmm.
I think is realistic for someone who has accomplished something to think, what if it was a fluke? And
Hmm.
to like then have more self doubt than they had before. I think that I mean I've never really been a champion, so I can't say for sure, but it seems reasonable to me.
No, no, no. Like you said, like you would sort of get like imposter syndrome or something like that. I guess like that was part of what the main themes of the second season was, where it's just like he's becoming overwhelmed, where he's like at the beginning of season 2, where like he believes that he carried the team to that point, and then like as the season ends, like he comes to the realization where it's like, hey, like it wasn't just me, like uh it was Amy and it was Liz as well who helped carry the load. So he was able to synergize with them a little bit more and help him not necessarily become hyper focused on trying to do everything himself. I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah, he
yeah.
definitely
Mhm.
Takashi definitely changes over the course of the show.
Yeah, like I'm glad he did because like the beginning of the show, and I guess like to your point, because like he's supposed to be a teenager, so because like in the beginning of the show, I was not a fan, especially with how much he was flipping and flopping. It's like I was not a fan. I thought he was a little bit older. I thought like if anything, he might have been say
Yeah, he
like
should have been. It makes no
yes.
sense for these characters to be teenagers, but whatever. Animes like this.
If it's an anime, they gotta be 15. Like
I mean, they don't, but they do. So they seem to think that a lot.
no,
Uh,
like he's the same age as Jotaro, right? It's like both
yeah,
15 years old. It's like
no, I
it's
don't know if I believe it. Yeah, I speaking of young characters
Mhm.
who so there is a character named Max, and it is the kind of leader of White Snow, the little girl.
Oh, wait,
And
yeah, that was her name. Yeah.
she I feel like I I feel like they wanted to make her a good character, and they shoot the show as if like, or like they style the scenes as though she's an interesting and cool character,
Hmm.
but she's not. She's just some
Oh,
woman who doesn't like who likes Takashi, and for some reason she's like, I'm gonna prove I can beat him by cheating. And I'm like, are we supposed to think this character is anything other than a loser? Like, I don't understand. I mean,
this
that
is.
the whole last
Mhm.
the last fight being against White Snow, uh, I think that's a little disappointing to me.
Yeah, like the emotional resolution, because like it's, I would say it was interesting seeing them play the mind games up until that point, because that's technically not cheating. Even in Formula One, you would see people play mind games in regards to some of the interviews that they would do. So, like seeing
Okay, but
them,
they
yeah,
literally hacked their mech though.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, that's
That was cheating.
that's complete cheating. Oddly enough, that's not something that Sledge Mama did, which they're known for cheating. But yeah, no, like
Sledge Mama needs a better publicist.
I feel like whoever was publicizing Sledge Mama was like J. Jonah Jameson. Is like, these medicines don't belong on the field. It's like, hey man, I just got like a scar on my face. It's like, don't I'm not a bad person. I'm just a little rough, right? Um, but like to your point, like leading up to it was good, but I don't know. It was just a bit of a letdown. Even though like the robots like combined and transformed into a bigger robot, where it's like, okay, like we got this gargantuan thing that we physically have
I
to
will say
overtake.
the
Yeah.
scene where they all like they're all fighting against the dry robot, and it switches between them being pilots or in the mechs and them being 2D animation, like a metaphorical representation.
Hmm.
That was cool. And they did a few more other times with Cunningham and Yama, and but I think that was the best one, was the final episode where it was neat.
Oh no, for sure. Like, cause when you mentioned that, like the cuddle the scene that pops up in my head is, I think it's the first time. No, not the first time, but the second time in season one. It's like the climax where Cunningham is against Takashi, and then you see Takashi with his kendo stick and Cunningham with his fencing weapon. Like that. That's probably the biggest scene for me, where it was very good, very crisp and clean. Um, Like, was there a particular scene that stood out to you throughout the entire series?
Yeah, I really like when he's doing that kendo match against the guy from White Snow, and he calls him a punk bitch. That
Yes.
gets me. I was like, Takashi, where is this coming from? What are you okay? It was like kind of I loved that. It was like, yeah, you punk bitch. I was like, okay.
It's like, get on my
So
level or get out.
yeah, it was a very good scene. I liked that. Even though I don't really like White Snow in general, I feel like, you know, they make them look like they're gonna be cool, but they don't actually can walk the walk. They can't talk, or they can talk the talk. They can't walk the walk.
Hmm.
You know?
All that aura farming just to be dropped on the way
Yeah,
to
just
the bus.
yes, exactly. Like, why are you aura farming if you're not gonna do nothing?
But no, no. Oh my goodness, it's funny too because like as I'm watching like that scene with him saying the punk ass bitch, I'm just like, oh my goodness, they aired this. What? Toonami,
Yeah.
Toonami.
Well, no, they didn't air that episode on Toonami. That was one of the ones they aired on Adult Swim at like Friday at midnight, just as the death slot. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, and just to make sure I don't forget,
Hmm.
the just to switch. I'm switching topics here, but
Okay,
the
okay,
video
that's
game
fine.
Takashi plays is stupid.
Wait, say it again.
The video game Takashi plays throughout the series is stupid, and I
Oh,
think
bro,
it just they should have just cut that from the fucking show.
it
Like,
was so confusing, dude. It's just like, what is this? And then
yeah,
I don't know,
what is
like I,
chat mode? Why is there a chat mode, battle mode? How
yeah.
do you even play this game? This doesn't look like a game. I feel like it was what a technologically illiterate person who's never played a video game thinks of video gaming is like.
But you gotta admit, when they had that Digimon scene, it was pretty.
It was pretty, but I wasn't good.
Oh my days! Like, cause it. Oh my goodness! No, no, no. Like you said. So, with that, so because like they had the video game in there, but what about the mind teaser, right? The brain teaser that his sister gave him, or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Liz
that was
gave him.
also kind of dumb. It's like, how did he
Yeah.
solve it? He just did one day. You know, there was
Mm-hmm.
no metaphor. He just kind of did. It's like, if we need any of these scenes in here, like I like this show, and I know I'm talking a lot of trash, but there's definitely room for improvement.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, why is this here? Oh, I guess like it was just like one of those like subtle nods that they were trying to show that like yeah, Liz likes him, but it's like I feel like they've done other stuff to establish that she
Yeah, she was
had
literally
yeah.
following them around when he was with Fontaine, which
Hmm.
is the only interesting episode focusing on their relationship, and it's because of Liz, not because of them.
Really? Okay. Why was it
Yeah, I
interesting
don't.
because of Liz?
Well, because it shows a different side of her that she cares about Takashi, and that she won't really admit it to herself or anyone else, but it's clear to the viewer.
Hmm.
And I think that establishes something that's new and intriguing,
No, no,
and
no, no,
kind of
no.
gives her another element to her character.
Yeah, no, no, that was really good. And just like thinking back about this because like you nailed you nailed it on the head, that the nail on the head earlier when you said that she was a really good solid character because when they give the backstory, and I'm trying because was it season one or season two when they gave the backstory about her being an orphan? I feel like that was in season one.
I think it was too.
Yeah,
They kind of go into it more in season two a little bit.
I feel like because they introduce it so early on, right? And she mentions how like she feels like she always have to scrape and work her way up to the top. Like it just like sort of reinforces that. And it feels organic and it doesn't feel like they're forcing it. And it explains her character so much on why she does things, like why she's so headstrong, why she values hard work, things like that. It it just really informs the character like why she does what she does. That was very well done in my opinion. Um, trying to think too. I also liked because like we talked about some of the fighting a little bit earlier. Like I liked how they showed that some of the pilots had a bit of a martial arts background. Um, so like Takashi had kendo. I think Liz has judo. Is it? We're not really told like what she knows, but it seems
Yeah,
like
it
yeah,
might be kung fu. I don't know, but she does some kind of martial art,
yeah.
and yeah, that I think that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Takashi's not doing anything remotely kendo like in his fighting style in the mech.
Oh yeah, no.
So if I feel like maybe they could have incorporated that somehow, but they didn't bother, and which is fine, right? It's like the show doesn't need to be, exactly perfect, but
Mm-hmm.
it yeah, I think the martial arts element's interesting. Especially they did a few fights in the show that were not in mechs, and those were very well animated and well done, I thought. And
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
yeah, and they didn't need to have them all the time, obviously, because this is a show about racing. But it was
Mm-hmm.
nice when they came up.
Oh no, yeah. Like I would say Liz and Takashi sparring. I always loved it when they began to spar because it was a little bit on their emotions coming to a head. You mentioned about the White Snow fighting with Takashi. Would you say that Takashi on the track with Cunningham? Would you say that that was a spar or like the first time, like right before like their first race, right, where like they tried to psych out
They
the other
used
guy?
air swords. Yeah,
Yes.
no, it was just a silly air sword scene. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking more about when they actually had to fight. The few times they had to fight for their lives.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
like from the Sledge Mama
fans,
fanboys
yeah,
stands.
the Sledge Mama fans are very dangerous people.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, yes.
yes, so that was intriguing.
Trying to think
I
if there
like that.
was what other scenes like outside of that they had to fight
I think there
through.
was another one. I just can't 100% remember what it
Mm-hmm.
was.
But no,
I
like
mean, obviously he
yeah,
had to fight against what is it, White Snow in the kendo match.
yeah.
They were kind of being aggressive there, but
But
that's not.
mhm.
I feel like there's another one. I don't remember what it is. Oh well.
We'll put it in the edit in case we remember later on. And I had another thought that came to mind when we were talking about nuts. I okay. I completely like derailed train of thought. Oh, with the tracks, I think like we might have mentioned this like off air, but with the track, like, are they in one city or there multiple tracks? Because I was always under the
So
impression that the track that they're on, like, they would sort of move
so
and
there
configure. Yeah.
there's definitely more than one track because they
Mm-hmm.
mention at least once how this is a track that they raced, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in the setting is in IGPX city, which is so stupid. Imagine if there was one city they did every NASCAR race in. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But it's just not like how is this the most popular motorsport? It's in one city. I don't. That doesn't make sense. But
Mm-hmm.
they did that so that they wouldn't have to do a bunch of location designs, you know. So whatever. But it takes place in one city. It says several tracks, but we usually aren't told which track we're on. You probably
Mm-hmm.
have to like pay pay a lot of extra attention to figure that out, which I didn't do.
Oh no. Totally understand because like I would say for me, the only time well, I liked the diversity of the track on like the community days where like they do those fun competitions for the fans because like they had obstacles they had to they had to go through and weave through. They had other different competitions that they had to overcome, and like at least like something like that would have been interesting to see. And I don't know, like if they might have gone into like certain tracks where it's like, oh, you gotta worry about this turn or worry about this loop to loop, right? This loop to the specific loop to loop is death loop or something like that, right? Where they have to attack it a certain way. But like now that I think about it, like they made it seem as though that the tracks that they're on, because like we mentioned earlier that Satomi was from IG2. So like they made it seem as though like the tracks are the same for IG2 and IG1. Am I correct in that assumption, or do we not know?
I mean, I guess I'd never considered that before, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't see why not. Why would they use a different track? Um, maybe they just race in a different season. You know,
Maybe, yeah. I guess
I
like
mean,
that.
so
That yeah.
IGPX City, maybe they have to, gotta be racing all the time to keep that money coming in. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
No, you're right about that. I would say like one thing that was kind of cool about like season 2 was we got to see that Satomi got a chance to like practice on the track. They made it seem like that never happens, right? So at least like having that being a perk as the winning team, or so like I guess like as the IG champions, right? Whereas like for each race you get to do, like you get to have like an actual factual practice lap. I also like really liked those episodes too, where we get to see Satomi work on their team building skills, right? I feel like we probably could have gotten a little bit more training episodes. Do you think that would have been good, or it
Yeah,
just would have
I
bogged
think
down?
they did maybe a couple too many races, and that
Mm-hmm.
they could have, because it felt like we needed a preparation episode for some of these big races, because
Yeah.
a lot of their wins felt a little unearned, because it's like, how did you really improve from the previous race? What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it just felt like what they did shouldn't have been able to let them win. But at the same time, you got to people watching this now, like younger people who are younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
like are living in a very different landscape. At this time, like when this is airing week to week, it's like our episode where they're just preparing for a race. Like that sounds kind of lame, you know?
Yeah,
Like you
you're
mean
right.
I'm waiting? I have to wait a whole nother week to see them race. So it's like I guess I get the whole. They just want to get to the point, which it's just when you're watching it like we watched it, like a modern day person just
Yeah, just
puts
like
the
binging
Blu-ray,
it.
watch the whole thing. It it seems odd. It seems like it's paced wrong, but I mean, I
You,
didn't feel that way as much when I watched it initially. So
you
maybe,
say that, but then we also had like Dragon Ball and Naruto where we're sitting through like tons of filler before like
but those
anything
weren't
happens.
Toonami originals.
No,
Though,
you're
if
right.
you
You're right.
like,
You're right.
those are Japanese only. Like if you're looking at American cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
like usually there's not even an overarching storyline because they don't want you to have to be confused if you've seen the last episode.
Oh
So
no, you're right about that.
yeah,
But
so
mm-hmm.
it's definitely closer to in that way. There's definitely an American influence where it's like, let's not start and end on a weird spot. You know,
Mm-hmm. And
it has
like
to be
yeah.
start and end on something cool.
No, like no, like now that you mention it, where it's either like the resolution of a race or it's like right at the apex of a race. Because thinking back on it is like there are a couple of like even though it's a very linear story, like there are a couple of quote unquote two-parters where it's like they split up a race between like the later half of one episode and the beginning half of another episode. So I can see that, like you said, it's like sort of rule of cool, where it's just like end it. Like if you're gonna end it on a cliffhanger, it has to be cool. Has to be that. It has to be incentivizing for the viewers to come back that next week to watch it. Um, but like I think like they probably could have done a little bit like incorporated the training a little bit, like have the training like in the first half and then like have them get ready to race in like the second half of an episode. But then that might have just bogged down the episode with like too many robots and you may not have had enough time with the people in that regard, now that I think about it. But
Yeah, I think it
mhm,
makes sense for what it was at the time, and it's just
yeah.
kind of weird watching it now. But I think it's a good show. If somebody asked, would you recommend this show? I'd say yes, I
Hmm.
would. If you're looking for specifically a racing anime, I think this one's probably my recommendation. It's
Awesome.
probably the only racing anime I've actually finished. So yeah,
Oh,
it's also it's not too
mhm.
long, right? It's 26 episodes. You know, you're
Oh
not
yeah.
bogged down in a 400 episode series, or it's like kind of intimidating to get into. So it's a short little thing. Just and you know, I don't think about the show that often because it's like not that big a part of my life, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I would say, like with this one, like it's nice and good, and like you can come back to it and you can relive it. And it was. Would you, uh, would you agree in saying that like it was a product of its time in a good way?
Huh. I Yeah, I think so. It's
Hmm.
definitely represents its era, especially with the soundtrack and the I guess character designs.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a you know it's of a different time and in a good way. Yeah, kind of
It
like
yeah.
Highlander or something, where it's like they wouldn't make this movie now, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's not like we have to worry about like any disclaimers or anything else like that. It's like, hey, remember, people thought differently in this time. It's like some people are going to say and act a certain way, but no, like you said, like it's good and it's sort of it may also be like a good case study. It's like, hey, do you want to see what people in the 2000s thought were cool?
You want to see what it was like when people thought it was okay to call someone a punk bitch?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. And I would say like that was probably like just being the product of its time because when I was watching it, even like on Sling, like I was not expecting to have like the little Toonami bumpers, right? At the beginning and at the end, because I thought that like that was like completely separate. So like that's sort of why like I said what I said, because having that included in this anime and like in each episode, oh my goodness, the nostalgia factor is just like it was almost like Peter Cullen just like coming in and just like hugging my ears. It's like it's okay. Like you don't like your memories of this time wasn't all bad. Like this one was good too. Um, but no, I completely agree with you. Like I think like if somebody like wanted something that was nice and light, good racing anime, and as we said before, like it's good. There are some flaws, but it's not necessarily some flaws that can take away, but not enough to where it's like it makes the overall experience intolerable, right?
Right. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not a perfect show by any means. There's
Yeah.
definitely room for improvement, but what it has is good, and shouldn't let perfect be the enemy of good. It's a good show. Check it out if you feel like it. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
watch this far, you watched an hour and 37 minutes or however long this is, but like over an hour, right? And like if you're still here, like watch the show. What are you doing? I mean, well, maybe finish this episode first. Actually, well, if you're still here, you've probably already seen it because we went all these spoilers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, for
Uh,
sure.
well, thanks for being here, listener, and listening to us ramble on about IGPX, the one of the shows ever made. It's pretty good.
Oh no, no, for sure. And just like you said, appreciate uh you coming on talking with me about this gushing over gushing over the good old days of having to hurry up and wait. And oh my god, you mentioned about like some of your projects before. Were there did you get them all in?
Ask anything else from me? In the description, you'll might notice is a link to youtube.com/@_Kevin Long, and there you can see various YouTube videos where I review cities and talk about my indie game, which is a fighting game that's sci-fi themed, much like IGPX is sci-fi themed. You know,
Oh yes.
definitely a science fiction show.
So just wanted to say thanks again, Kevin, for coming along and appreciate your time. And for our listeners, for our viewers, thank you for your time, and we'll see you on the next one.